We are reviewing Darker Than Black Season 1, 2 and the OVA because we like doing things in its entirety if we can. I'm going to do it and you want to help me out because I might misstep myself, yeah?
Okie dokie.
Alright, the premise of To Darker Than Black is apparently, I can't remember exactly when, there was an event in South America called Hell's Gate, and there was some kind of explosion or some kind of cataclysmic event. The sky was replaced by fake stars. Those fake stars represent these people called contractors. Now, contractors are people with special powers. When they use their special powers, they have to compensate by doing something that is very...
obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, something that's obsessive compulsive, and each character has to do something unique. The basic storyline follows the main character called Hay, who is a contractor, who's also known as the Dark Reaper, or the Black Reaper. He works for the Syndicate, has taken on assassinations, and the anime focuses on that world, the world of contractors, basically, and how the powers of Earth, the superpowers, America, Japan, Russia, whatever, they all use contractors to battle each other and that kind of thing. But, the basic premise is the world of contractors and the event that happens. It's focused on one group of the Syndicate, which is Hayes' group, which consists of him, a cat called Mal.
I think it's Mal.
A girl who is...
She's a doll.
Sorry, there's also things called dolls as well, which is... I'm even still trying to figure out exactly what they are, but...
Well, basically, they have no feelings, do they?
They can watch, I think the doll that's with Hay can watch through, I don't know if it's glass or water.
It's water. Yeah,
and then there's another doll from an opposing faction who can look through glass.
So dolls are basically observers. That's what they do. They observe things, people and stuff. Companies use the dolls as observers.
Yeah, they're spies. Yeah.
So this anime focuses on this team, which consists of a cat who can use a contractor who can change bodies into any other animal, I believe, but not human. Hay, who is a assassin. Who's that guy? The short ink. There's a human as well.
Was it Hung or something? He's the one who gets a job. He's actually the head lead. He's the lead really because he's the only human. The rest of them are either dolls or contractors. So he's the lead to the syndicate. So he tells them what jobs they're going on.
Yeah. So that's the group that the anime focuses on, but there's other groups as well, and you get to see them. There's a group from England, there's a group from Russia. I think most of them are from their respective countries. They battle each other for information. There's a lot of it's like a spy game. It's a very noir kind of anime, and the contractors are in groups, like I said, and they're going on little missions, little spying. They're trying to get one up on each other.
And the contractors are not necessarily bound to a country. Some are freelance.
Exactly. Some are freelance, yeah. So, when you're watching this, you're interested in the whole concept of contractors and the world. And I think nobody really understands why the event happened in the first place or what caused it. That's another, element of mystery to the anime. You start off with Hay. You follow him on a couple of missions, don't you?
Yeah, literally. They just kind of get you used to what's actually happening in this world. So you're just following Hay and the group on missions that they've been requested to do. Sometimes it's to get something back. I think most of them, aren't they, are to get something that they need to take back to headquarters or whatever the syndicate wants them to do. So you're literally just following them through their day-to-day missions.
Oh, another thing about contractors, they seem to be kind of void of emotion.
I wouldn't say that. They have emotion. They just try not to be emotional about things. Like some people, they'll maintain professional attitude toward everything, regardless of what's going on. Like they'll kill their own family if it has to come to that.
Yeah.
Is that like the equivalent to like a, Star Trek, like a Vulcan?
I want to say yeah.
I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, like with dolls, they have no emotion at all. They have nothing. So I guess in regards to that, I suppose you would say they're Vulcan-like because they keep them under control and it's not the forefront of the reasons why they do things. It doesn't actually stop them from doing anything heinous.
That's what they say. They analyse the situation and they say they always make the logical choice in any situation. Even if, like One Life said, it is killing your mother or family or whatever to achieve a certain goal, if it's logical, they will follow that route. Now, one thing you'll notice about Hay, the main character, is he seems to be, it's kind of weird. You notice from the beginning, he seems to be able to kind of put on this kind of happy-go kind of normal guy.
Yeah, I think that's true for all contractors, that they're able to play multiple roles to achieve their goal, even if it's not their personality.
Yeah. Anyway, another character that kind of stands out as one of the main players is one of the female detectives.
She is going to be the focus on a bunch of the episodes, and they use that story just to uncover the world that they live in mostly. Like, she'll go out and talk to all these people, discover about these contractors, what do they do, what are they after, why are they working for this like group or whatever. And as you follow her, she's focusing on mainly finding this one contractor, which would be Hay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's not part of the syndicate at all, in it. She's just an officer. Yeah, who's just investigating things that are happening in the city, obviously, that are not supposed to be.
Yeah, and really, other than those characters, you just meet other groups of contractors, a lot of battles and stuff like that. So that leads us on to the animation. I felt was really good, really clean. The battle scenes were really good, really clean again. And not only that, they were quite intricate. Very interesting to see the different styles of fighting as well. Hey, I always make a joke that his power is electricity, but the way he uses that grappling hook, that seemed more like his power.
I prefer the animation too. It's really detailed, really clean. They do the action well, and even though it's Japanese animation, each character has their own little quirks and stuff that you can see while you're watching.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really loved that animation. I loved the fight scenes were ridiculous for me. I really enjoyed the fight scenes. Like you said, the little quirks, especially with Hay, the fact that he turns from one to the other. 1 minute he's a really nice, kind of smiley, dumb little seems to be guy, and then he turns into something else. You literally see the change in the animation with him, which I found really interesting.
The intro was okay. I did kind of watch it a couple times, but nothing really stood out. I did like the little cutscene in the middle. They had a little drawing of the cat or something in both seasons. That was quite nice as well. As for background and all that, it was good. It was alright. It was just very clean cut. I like the character designs as well. Like I said this to Nuance earlier, kind of like a sexy anime, not like Bleach or anything, like they're wearing trendy clothes or anything, but most of the characters looked quite nice. You know, a lot of the people, kind of pretty people. There were exceptions, obviously. Like there was one really fat opera singer, contractor.
Yeah, I like the animation a lot. One other thing I wanted to point out was the city sometimes looks too clean, which can be distracting and makes you think that there is something weird going on. Like you'll go to like the normal city buildings and everything. There's like no dirt or grime or anything, despite all these contractors doing everything. It seems like there's something else going on, and it kind of adds to the atmosphere.
I didn't think about that actually. Yeah, because where they used to meet as well, it was like, was it like under a river? Not under a river, under a bridge. And when you think about it, it was very clean. Everywhere was quite clean. So
let's move on to the sound. I watched the dub for the first season and the sub for the second. Let's just concentrate on the first season first. The dub was really good, really good dub. I really enjoyed it, and a lot of people I've read reviews said the dub was really good as well. Not a problem there. Not a lot of background music at all. I really don't think there was a lot, but it wasn't necessary. Like a very noir kind of anime anyway, so a lot of it, you kind of back behind alley kind of things going on, a lot of missions going on. You're not going to need a lot of sound. You're just going to... I mean, it was even to a point, characters don't speak. Like these dolls, they don't talk. But you felt the kind of pressure, it felt a bit intense. You don't have to say a lot to, get the message across. I felt that in this series as well, so...
They did well with the dramatic pauses and things in speech, as well as in action, those dramatic pauses between a fight and someone talking or someone reacting. Most animes can't do that, where they have to actually fill in the blank with something. In some moments in this show, it's just completely silent, and you just have these two people reacting to each other.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. It was really, really good. I watched the dub as well, and I had no problems with it at all. There was definitely a sense of intensity all the way through, which was great for me, which was good. It was an easy watch, easy listen.
Yeah, going back to season one, the kind of the pacing of the story. In the beginning, the first half, you kind of wondering what's going on, and they focus more on the missions and not so much the origins of the story, which most people are interested to find out. You want to know what the countries are about and all that, but they start off with missions, fine. Second half, to the end of the first season, it focuses more on Hay and his past. You find out that he's out for something. He's looking for his sister. This isn't really a spoiler. You find out earlier on he's looking for his sister, and as it comes to the climax, I felt like it does. Anime that's doing this thing where they cluster you with information, especially the last two episodes. It wasn't as bad as other anime, but at the end, you don't know for so long, and at the end they tell you all this past back history and all that. It just felt, it felt spread out a bit earlier on. Might have been a bit better, but
Yeah, I think if they had spread out all that information throughout the entire series instead of just leaving it towards the end, it probably would have been better, and then you could have pieced it together. But felt a bit rushed, I think, the ending of the first season.
I mean, but that happens a lot in anime anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where near the end they do that. So that's nothing that doesn't happen. I actually think that from the beginning they did really focus on Hay, and I think there was a struggle. I felt that I could see the struggle between his emotional side and his more stoic side. And there are certain missions that he went on that, to me, he needed to kind of hold back his emotion. He kept on trying to hold back his emotion. So even though I understand what you're saying about at the end you kind of find out more, I think there was an interesting progression that you did kind of see with him as a character, and you did kind of see that from the beginning. It was based around him. Everything that happened was literally based around him. It didn't go on the tangent to another character. So for me, I feel like it did kind of progress. But the ending, obviously, there was, once again, as we are all used to, a rush of information that could have been spread out a bit more.
I think that was because Hay was a unique contractor, as in he was working more for himself and not the company that he works for, and he was only working for that company or as a contractor as a means to get his own information about looking for his sister and all that.
True, definitely
true. True. Well, now we move on to the second season. The basic premise of this one, a lot of people, this isn't a spoiler again, really. If you read any kind of quick synopsis, they'll tell you. The second series isn't solely based on Hay this time. It's based on a girl, I can't remember her name right now.
She's a Russian, first of all.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
The story's based in Russia, so it's a departure. And it's 2 years have gone by as well, by the way, from the ending of season 1. And you focus more on this girl in Russia, and how that story starts is she's with her brother, and in the beginning you see that they're on a hilltop with their dad. A meteorite crashes right on top of them, and one of them becomes a contractor after the meteorite hits them. The brother's a contractor. He's obviously involved in something that the sister has no idea about, and she ends up on the run.
She later becomes a contractor.
I can't say that's a spoiler for the simple reason you kind of see it. And if you look at the picture, you can see she's holding a big gun anyway. And but when I was watching the anime, she wasn't a contractor for the first 3 episodes.
Events happened that took place that triggered her to become a contractor.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a spoiler. You kind of, because when you're watching, I was thinking, why am I watching this ditzy teenage girl crying all the time? What the hell's going on? And then you obviously see Hay running around in the background, and you don't know what he's doing. Not yet, anyway. Once she becomes a contractor, he kind of starts training her.
Reluctantly
training her because he's getting, again, he's just joined another group and he's just taking orders, and his order is to train this girl. So that second season consists of him training this girl, and them going not on missions. There's an underlying storyline, but I can't really go into it because that's kind of a spoiler as well. But
it is a short story or a shorter series, so it's kind of hard to go into it without giving too much away.
But what I will say is, let's just get into what we think about it. The animation is just as crisp as it was in season 1. Yeah, the battle scenes. There's more battle scenes, I think, in season 2. To me, anyway. Well, maybe they were more effective, or they just resonate more in my mind. But the season 2, to me, the battles were much better, and same old character designs. It was all good, man. I really liked it. It just carried on from season 1. It didn't get any worse. It just got a bit better in my mind.
Also, the characters shuffle around. Hay is not working with his normal doll because of what happened in season 1, and he's actually working with an opposing faction's doll that they introduced in the first season as well.
I thought I had no problems with it. Again, like you said, it was a continuation from the first. I actually really, really liked the first episode because you kind of got to see the sky or whatever before stuff happened. So that was kind of interesting, and just to see that change once again with the characters.
Actually, I have to say, I felt the animation was actually more beautiful because it was in Russia. There was a lot of snow, and you got to see a lot more landscape, especially since it was they were on a journey. So you got to see a lot more of areas, and there were a lot more fight scenes. I think there was one scene where they were having a big battle at a train station.
Yes.
What I noticed about the animation is, compared to the first season, the second season is a lot more grittier, and it gets more down to the dirt with all the little side missions that are going on in the background.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes how deep these people get into all this bad stuff they're doing.
And I have to say, man, it's only 12 episodes, but it was paced really, really well. I really enjoyed it. It didn't even feel short because I really enjoyed every minute of it. Just 12, it's less than half of the first season. So, boy. Let's move on to sound. Sound is more or less the same. I didn't watch, obviously it's not released in English, so I didn't watch the dub this time. I watched the sub. No problem there. It was perfect. Obviously, I got a chance to experience the characters, the Japanese voice actors this time. And it was all good, man. It was no difference. I didn't feel any transition. It just was smooth sailing, man. It was all good. The introduction to season 2, the opening, was very good, actually. It was very nice.
Yeah, I liked that as well. I liked the opening. It was really, really good. It was much more memorable for me than the first. It did actually feel like it was a journey. And once again, the animation was really, really beautiful in the opening.
Yeah, and the ending, actually. And the ending as well. I remember the ending. The ending was really beautiful as well.
In regards to the sub, for me, I really liked it. It was, it was very full in regards to, what they were saying. And also, you see, because Hay has two kind of voices. He's got like the monotone and the I'm a happy person. So that was done really, really well to see that as well. So yeah, I really like that. Sound was great.
Yeah, I also agree with the opening. I really enjoyed that. I actually started to listen to the band of that group that did the opening. I think the name was Stereo Pony is the name of the group.
Cool.
It's an all-girl group, and it really suited the opening for the second season well, since the protagonist is a girl this time.
And if you look on you want to say his profile on Spill, she's actually got a picture of the female contractors, don't you? From
yes, I do, because the thing that I really, really liked about the second series was the fact that you really got to see the progression of a contractor, especially when they start becoming, or when they become contractors. And I guess it would be a bit of a spoiler if I went into that.
No, but I agree, and I won't even spoil it, but in season 1, you would always hear about, they might show you a flashback of what a person was like before they was a contractor, and you see it after, but in the second series, you actually see someone transform into one.
Exactly.
So it's a bit heartbreaking to see someone that was so full of life and happy turn into this, logical, robotic type kind of person. So
yeah, and the thing is, the thing that's important is it's not by choice. You don't kind of know, and it's kind of like Rin in that respect, because obviously if you've watched Rin, you know that you know, when it happens, when that spore comes in, the spores are there and they fly into you, and some people become
one thing or another.
Yeah, or another. So it's the same thing in a sense with Dark and Black, because you don't know if you're going to become a contractor or not. And when you do become a contractor, you just, the change is so instant, but you remember how you were before. So it was really interesting in season 2 to be able to experience that, somebody who wasn't a contractor and they become a contractor and see the difference. Because like you were saying, One Life, about the fact that they kind of control their emotions.
Yeah.
At the beginning, when they first become contractors, they don't seem to have that. They seem to be more like dolls.
They have to relearn to use their emotions so that they can get their job done. At least that's what it seems.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of see that more in season 2, which kind of does pull at your heartstrings more, make you understand a life of what a contractor.
And this girl, you know, without spoiling too much, all I will say is this girl that they focus on in season 2 is unique. And you could just tell that from even after she got a contractor, seems to be something different about her, which, you know, you watch the anime to find out. But yeah, obviously my only gripe is, once again, like the first season, at the end it went into another kind of, you know, information overload. And actually, this will help some people out. When you watch the OVA is a prelude to the second series. It helps you understand the ending of this season, watching the OVA, because the OVA, someone is reintroduced that you don't see at all in the second season, and I just didn't get it. They made it such a big deal, but when you watch the OVA, which happened not long before the start of season 2, then you understand why. So it's quite, you know, watching OVA is essential to this as well. But yeah, before I watched the OVA, I felt the ending was
lacking.
You know, I was reading it just went in a slightly different direction for me, and then it was still very good. But but when I watched the OVA, it made more sense. You know, I was like, okay, you know. So overall, it was good, still good for 12 episodes. I even, you know, honestly, in retrospect, I like this more than the first season, to be honest with you.
I can definitely understand why you say that, just because it's a little bit more in depth of, like I said, contractors and dolls and things like that. I think the thing that's important is to know that the second season is not about Hay as much as the first, you know, and not until you literally get to the end again. So it is literally, it's different.
Hay is another part of the story. He's just not the main character of this series.
Yeah. But you know, when someone told me that, I was a bit disappointed. But when you watch it, I didn't feel like he played a big enough part. He really did. You're not gonna miss him. He's there, but it's just a slight change, and it still works. Works perfectly. Great show, my man. So anyway, let's get down to the scoring.
I'll just list the things down because we already explained well enough what we liked. I really enjoyed this. I would give it a first class. I would recommend it to anybody who wants to watch a pretty good story about some science fiction world. It's very interesting.
So for me, I am between solid B and first class. Ultimately, I really, really, really liked it. The concept was fresh for me. It was really, really good. It was a good concept. I was definitely intrigued from one. And I thought the fighting scenes, I love a good fight, you know? And because the animation was so good, it just made the fighting scenes even more crisp for me. So ultimately, I would have to go with One Life and give it a first class. I'll talk about my gripe later, my one gripe.
I feel like I don't really know where they're going with the story. The story doesn't feel like it's over. And I feel like they keep on bringing... First season had this climactic ending. Second season has a climactic ending. And I still feel like something's missing. I feel like it was missing something. Although the animation characters were good, there's something that's holding it back. And I don't know what it is. And it's something in the story. That's why I have to take 2 points away from the story. But overall, unfortunately, I can't give it a first class because I feel something's holding it back If it's a first class, I'm going to own it. Simple as that. This is something that I don't... Maybe in the third season, it might tip me over the edge, but right now, it's definitely a solid B. B plus if I could. Or a high solid B or whatever. But yeah, man, it's close to a first class, but I feel that there's some things holding it back, you know, so...
I think it's ownable. I definitely think it's ownable.
The thing is, the second season was really tight, and the first season was kind of progressive.
You know, this is my gripe is the fact that I actually felt that the first season was, you know, when we kind of found out about the world and everything, and we were getting used to it, and it ended at a climactic part. I just felt that there could have been something more in the middle before we moved on to another character. Even though Hay was still there, he's there in a kind of different form. And so I just felt like I could have watched to me personally, I could have watched another season of just him doing his thing and a little bit more development there before we jumped to what is the second season. So for me, I would have preferred that to be the third and the second be a little bit more involved. Yeah, so that's my only gripe.
I would love to see a third season focusing on Hay and this new contractor, but that won't happen. I just have a feeling that the way that each storyline progresses, it's just a wish.
It is. I second that wish. We'll wish together.
We'll wish upon those fake stars that they have.
Yes, yes, and hope not one of us turns into a contractor or a doll. Which is worse, a contractor or a doll?
Doll is worse. Come on.
Yeah, it's worse. It is worse.
Sorry, folks. I just checked on Wikipedia. It says, according to series creator Tennessee Okonamwara, I'm sure I got that wrong, there is currently no plans for a third season.
No,
I know,
yes.
that's why it's just a wish.
I definitely think it was good, man. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I would definitely say.
But you know what? I feel like it's kind of like a grown folks anime. It's not really for, you know, not for the flipping Naruto fans. So,
oh yeah, it's a teen/adult anime.
A seinen, is that what you guys call it?
Seinen.
Because you think some people would not like the silences? Do you think that some people might find it hard?
I think they just wouldn't get the characters. It's not one of those instant gratification ones.
Definitely not.
Normally for mainstream. This is one of those. It's for anime fans, really.
It's a thinking anime. You think it's a thinking one.
People that don't think too much, GA, you know, might not like it or might think it's forgettable. GA.
It's not naming names, GA.
No. GA.
Not at all. GA.
Oh, folks. Okay, man. That's it. That's it for the review. You know, recommended, man. Check out Darker Than Black. It's a good show. Really good show. Really good show.
Darker Than Black. I have to say, what would you? I have to just ask. What do you think is this is a bit of a spoiler, so you might want to cut this out. But what do you think the worst contract was? Yeah, what do you think the worst one was? The worst price that they had to pay.
The one I saw was breaking your finger.
Oh my gosh, I forgot who had to do that.
The first guy who got killed in the very first season.
Yeah,
he had to break his finger in order to use his little telekinetic power.
Hay broke his finger for him, actually. There was one bit he broke. I don't know.
Hay broke a lot of fingers, though. I think he liked breaking fingers.
Hey, but you know what? I'm not cutting that out because it was not really a spoiler. But hey, I don't know why people don't agree with me, man. Forget about the electricity, man. That grappling hook, that was power. My God.
You can learn to use a grappling hook. You can't learn to use electricity.
The way he used that grappling hook, man, he will take Batman out. Come on, man. He had some skill. As an assassin alone, he don't need that electricity.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Well, you say that, but there was one or two fights that if he didn't have the electricity, like he had to use both. Because remember that he used that hook. No, yeah, but he used it, and then he would use that to send his electricity down.
But he hanged more people than he electrocuted. He literally broke more necks than he electrocuted in both seasons. So
shocking.
You had to say it, didn't you?